Okay, and we're back for part 3, I believe it is. This is part 4, I think. Anyway, we are here looking at this project that we've been working on for 3 other videos now, and it's time to go in a little bit deeper and start taking these shadows and tones and actually turning them into features and things of that nature. I apologize for the audio. I'm probably going to need to go and pick up a um, better microphone a little later. Sadly, how that works is the one that I have is bad. The one that I'm using is actually my computer system. So any boops and twerps and things like that that you're hearing are totally the computer's fault, not mine. So what I want to do right now is I'm just going to slightly drop down the opacity on the shadows that we put in on our separate layer, and also drop down our background just a little bit more, because now it's time to go in with the harsh shadows and starting the actual drawing. And I think I am going to start blacking some of this stuff in with my brush, or I'm going to go in with my or I'm going to go in with my brush as more of a pencil than a brush. So I'm still thinking about what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring my opacity up. I'm going to turn on all my levels, and I'm going to make a new layer above the tone layer, and this is where it starts to get fun. So obviously this is going to take a lot longer than 11 minutes to ink. So what I'm probably going to do is play out 11, 12, 13 minutes and just hit the important parts, and then when this is done, I'll finish doing the rendering of it, and then I'll make the next video, which will be on the next stage. So anyway, right now I'm just doing the basic inking, where I can zoom out for you and show you what that looks like. Obviously, it's definitely going to cartoonize things pretty intensively. So I like doing cartoons, so we'll see how far I actually take this. But personally, my favorite style is marble. I love the marble style. And so getting that marble shading and stuff like that's very important to me, and making sure that everything stands off the paper is important. That's why I do a lot of my tones first. That way I can really start to see, what things are looking like before I get into the main thing. Well, his eyes look really crossed. So let's undo that and kind of move that over that way. That's a little better. And I'll come in later and I'll work on the other little details. For now, it's just, and I'm inking a little differently than I usually do. Usually, what I'll do is I'll take my brush very heavy, and I'll just go over and top everything in a clean swoop. But this time, I want to make sure that I also catch line quality. So by doing this and slowly working my way through and scraping it out, it will probably actually come out looking better than it would otherwise. Yeah, his eyes still look a little off, but that's okay. I'll work on that. So right now it's just a matter of sketching the lines that I'm going to use later on, that are going to cast all my shadows that I'll shade in and stuff later. And you know what? I'm gonna drop my airbrush setting and go in just a little bit deeper with some of this stuff. Now I'm putting out a heavy black line, which is going to look cool. There we go. And that line just needs to move over just a bit. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a mask. I'm just going to drop it right on top of this. just like this. And I'll show you how a mask works. Once you deselect the mask, it selects that area. And then once that area is selected, then I can invert the layer because it's always going to select outside. And then I'm going to layer via cut like I showed you before. Oops. There we go. Now watch what will happen. Let me get out of this mode. I don't know why it turns that on. This is the extras mode. You can turn it off with Control H or otherwise. Alright, now watch this. This is going to be kind of cool. Where do I want to look? Do I want to look over here? Look over cross-eyed? Do I want to look over here? So the nice thing now is if I want to, I can zoom out. Actually, that looked pretty spot on a second ago. So let's just move it about there. That looks pretty cool. So anyway, that's a cool thing. I mean, you can move all the features around as much as you want. Let me sharpen up this eyebrow over here. Get my brushes just a bit bigger. More emails. I had another sale a couple seconds ago, which means more drawings. I gotta finish up one other one, but I need to take a break from those and really just try and take my mind off of all the work that needs to be done. It grows on you really quick and you get kind of tired of all the sales, but it's all good, you know, you just gotta keep at it. And no, I'm not willing to give any of my sales away. Sorry. So I've learned that Marvel has a certain thing that they do with all their lines. They draw like these open areas here. And it's kind of showing, okay, maybe you want to fill in the shadow with a separate tone or something. So, kind of like that. You may even take it down to the nose sometimes, which can look pretty sweet. Let's zoom out and see how that looks. We'll even pull up our, hey, look, I'm blinking at you. No, okay. Let's pull up our tones and see how that looks. It's pretty sweet. We'll harden those out even more as we get further into it. Now I'm going to ink the outside of his face, and I'm just going to make my brush just a bit bigger. Okay. And I'm just going to really harden down on the outside of his face. And the other thing that you want to keep in mind is lighting and line. So as we get closer to the light where it's hitting his face, I'm going to make that line thinner. And then as the line goes away, I'm going to make it thicker again. So like above the ear here, I'm going to make that really thick. But as I come down towards the light on the bottom of the ear, I'm going to make that really thin. And inside the ear is going to have a reflection of the light, so I'm going to make that thin. Top of that I'm going to make thick. So you just got to think about an ear and where the light usually shines. Excuse me, I got hiccups on the ear. And it sounds easy. It does take a lot of practice though. But with time, you will have it. And you'll be able to do it. So that looks really cool. Doesn't that look neat? Alright. We're at 9 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and start working on his hair. Yeah, I'll work on his hair a little bit. And in this area, you just need to do the fine areas. And if you want to speed it up, you could group them together. So instead of doing individual strands like I do, maybe you could just do that. but I like the realistic detail of extra hair. It takes a little bit longer to shade because you have to remember sometimes there's open areas that weren't ever shaded. Like here's an open gap right there. There's an open gap right there. So sometimes you have to go in and fill those out a little bit. Okay. I'm just drawing that sideburn. You just take your time. The goal is to have fun. If you have fun, you'll come up with a good product in the end. And right here, I'm going to have it flick back into his ear. Kind of like that. That looks a little odd, so I'll take it and I'll draw in some more things to kind of balance it and see what happens. Like, I like what I did just now, so maybe what I'll do is I'll take my eraser and I'll erase the... Oopsie! I made a big mistake. Alright, so take a look at this. I just drew his whole face on my shadow layer. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm glad this happened because I can show you, is I'm going to have to take my magic wand and I need to select where the black is. And if I only get some of it, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the shift and I'm going to select more of the black lines. There we go. Okay, so now all that area, most of that area, there we go. It looks like it's selected here, so I hope it is. As far as I can tell, it is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer via cut, or not. Let's see why it's not letting me do it. There we go. So now I should have just the face, black lines right there. It looks like it missed that earlobe, but that's okay. I'm actually just going to, yeah, so that looks pretty cool. And actually, take a look at this. Doesn't that original look cool without the shading too? See, but that shading really adds a lot to it. So anyway, that's how we ink. It's 12 minutes now already, so I'm going to stop here. I'm going to keep inking, and I'll come back when I'm done inking, and we'll get to work on more shading, and then finally color, and we'll be all done. So thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. As soon as I'm uploading these, I'm seeing people are watching it. So thank you very much, and make sure you subscribe, okay? And then make sure to check out my website, timmichaelarts.com, for my webcomics, and much, much more. All right? I will see you guys later. Another video coming soon.